All right, welcome to the Carl Jackson Show, your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies, guys. I want to start right off the bat playing a little. I want to play the culture game. I wasn't going to talk about this story, but I think it needs to be talked about now. The more that I've thought about it, the more that I've heard people opine about it, and that is the crew of women that flew in the what is that? What is that thing called? Blue Orbit, Blue. I don't know what it is. The Blue Origin. Thank you, Mr. Cassiano. So, Blue Origin, the Jeff Bezos rocket ship. You had a bunch of superstars that flew in it. I want to show you some video, the video that we just played before we went on, Gabe, and I'm going to give you my reaction to this video because a lot of people are saying that this was a major feat. This was I mean, this was a big deal in the women's empowerment movement. So let's watch it for ourselves, and then I'm going to react. Let's go ahead and play that video, por favor, Gabe.
Got it. One, two, three. Taking up space.
Tamir's in space.
Flynn, behind you. Look right behind you. It's okay. Leave Flynn up there. Flynn behind you. Look at
Flynn, I gotcha. I gotcha, Flynn.
Gotcha. Proud of you, Flynn. Oh, the moon! You guys, I will have to tell you, look at the moon. That's amazing.
Wow, look at the blue line.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goddess.
Wow.
That's our pink moon.
Okay. Now it's time to look out that way.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa. That's amazing.
Such a great point. Such a great point, Gabe. I was ready to rock and roll. Gabe messed me up, but in a good way. That was the diversity crew. Guys, listen, what we witnessed yesterday was no women empowerment movement, if you will. It was no major feat. You had a bunch of women that took off in a glorified roller coaster. These ladies being compared to astronauts of the past, acting as if they did something major is a complete and utter joke. And I'm kind of surprised that these women are talking about what a major female feat this is when I'm not even sure that these are the women that would stand up against men that are invading women's sports. I don't see the big deal about this. I think what would have been a big deal is if I saw Katy Perry going to rescue two astronauts that were abandoned in outer space for 9 months. But that's not what we saw. We saw a bunch of women on a glorified roller coaster having a bunch of fun, doing something that I admit is cool, but something that isn't necessarily, I don't know, that big of a deal. All these ladies did, if we're being honest, is they dipped their big toe in outer space. They didn't achieve some scientific feat of any sort. But the news media is making a big whoop-de-doo about this, but they're not making a big deal off of the real heroes that we saw rescue the astronauts that were stuck in space for 9 months, thanks to the Biden administration abandoning them for political purposes. So we've got more. Let's play the next video. This is Katy Perry, the singer, as she reacts to her experience going outer space or dipping her big toe in outer space. Let's go ahead and roll it, Gabe.
Katy!
Okay, so you guys may have heard the video, and we don't have the full clip, but she talked a big game. Katy Perry did absolutely astonishing how she felt love going up, felt love going down, or something to that effect. But the truth of the matter is, I'm not sure that they felt anything more than just excited to be on what was obviously a very cool ride, a glorified roller coaster, no doubt. But is this what the women's movement has come down to? I took some time earlier, and honestly, it didn't take long. It took me all of about a minute. Actually, I take that back. I'm lying to you. Forgive me. It took me all of about 20 seconds to Google some women that deserve to be celebrated for some real major accomplishments. And I'm talking about in modern American history. I didn't go back to a Harriet Tubman or something like that, women that obviously deserve to be praised. But I just looked at this was an old USA Today column, and I looked back until 1950 or so, and there were about 70 women that accomplished historical feats that these women did not accomplish. It's absolutely astonishing to me. Let's just name a few as I'm scrolling through my phone, and forgive me because my eyesight is not as great as it was. But Marion Donovan, invention. She invented Marion Donovan invented the first disposable diaper. She patented that in 1951. Donovan had been rebuffed by companies run by men, so she sold the diapers directly to retailers. See, here's what I'm getting at, and then we'll go through some more names. But these ladies want you to believe that somehow, some way, they've bust the glass, they've burst through the glass ceiling, that they've done something special. And this is what leftism has become. Guys, honestly, when I see that video and when I saw the reaction to that video, or to those videos and more videos, frankly, out there, is if these women had accomplished something major, I couldn't help but to think, man, we are extremely blessed. We are extremely spoiled in the United States of America. Not only do we have to make up fake racism, but we have to make up fake feminism, right? Fake feminist accomplishments. Every single one of those women were extremely successful. I have no beef if they want to spend buku money dipping their big toe into outer space. It's something that a lot of people can't afford to do. But let's not sit here and pretend like these ladies were trained astronauts, like they did something major, because they did not. You guys noticed that they didn't have all of the gear that you would see NASA or SpaceX astronauts having on, the mask and what have you, because they weren't going into outer space for some extended period of time. They weren't going into deep outer space. But yet we're supposed to celebrate this for what? What did they accomplish? I don't. If you're saying you're going up to have fun, hey, so be it. They look like they had a lot of fun. They look like, if you experienced the best ride you ever could at Six Flags Magic Mountain, Disney World, wherever, okay. I guess that's that times 10, perhaps, I'd imagine. But they didn't even have to wear protective gear. I mean, their suits looked cool. No helmets, no gloves. I am thankful that they returned safely. But let's not pretend like they did something major for women. And the truth of the matter is, this is who the left has become. They don't have much to celebrate because, if we're being honest, frankly, given what the rest of the world experiences, America is a pretty good place. America is such a good place that you have to make up grievances and you have to send ladies that are multimillionaires into the tip of outer space in order to pretend like they achieved something for women. Ladies, let me ask you, when they splashed down to the earth, did you feel liberated? Did you think, oh my Lord, now, if women couldn't get ahead before, they can now? No, you didn't feel that. Because every single one of these ladies are living their American dream and they're pretending as if it doesn't exist. This is amazing to me, but this is where we are. 1951, Lucille Ball. You guys know Lucille Ball. I Love Lucy, Desi Arnaz, her husband at the time. Zany comedian Lucille Ball was a television innovator who broke barriers. Her show featured an inter-ethnic marriage to Cuban American singer Desi Arnaz that was not widely accepted at the time. Ball eventually became the first woman to own a studio. Wow. Ella Baker. Ella Baker was a civil rights figure who became the first woman to lead the New York chapter of the NAACP. That was in 1952. Baker was also one of the founders of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. In 1953, you had Jacqueline Cochran. Cochran became the first woman to break the sound barrier when she piloted an F-86 plane. Wow. This is after Amelia Earhart, another woman that really accomplished something major. Jewel Prestidge, forgive me if I mispronounce this, Prestidge, T-A-G-E, excuse me. Jewel Prestidge became the first African American woman to get a doctorate in political science. Oh, way back in 1954, which she received from the University of Iowa. I didn't know black people were in Iowa at that time. Gabe, I gotta admit. All right, Rosa Parks, 1955. Rosa Parks played a key role in the civil rights movement when she refused to give up a seat on a bus to a white person in Montgomery, Alabama. This led to the Montgomery bus boycott and integration of buses. All right, what about authoring Lucy, 1956? Authoring Lucy endured physical and verbal abuse to become the first African American woman to attend the University of Alabama. You have Marie Tharp. Marie Tharp helped create the first map of the floor of the North Atlantic, published in 1957. Because she was a woman, Tharp was not allowed on research vessels, so she worked as a cartographer on land and helped outline the ocean floor by using data collected by her partner, Bruce Heezen. 1958, Mary Winston Jackson. Mary Winston Jackson was the first African American female engineer at NASA. She was portrayed by actress Janelle Monáe in the motion picture Hidden Figures. You guys remember that? See, these are the women that broke the barriers that should be celebrated. What these ladies experienced, what we witnessed, was a glorified roller coaster ride. And you have the mainstream media that wants to sit there and pretend as if they accomplished some major feat for women's rights or for the women empowerment movement. They didn't empower women whatsoever. If they really wanted to empower women, they would be standing up against men in women's sports today. All right, guys, you're listening to the Carl Jackson Show. This is your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. I got so much to get to, so you guys stay tuned. I'll take a quick swig, and then I want to talk to you about my pillow. Also, guys, please don't forget, subscribe to the podcast wherever you go to get your podcast. Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, and Rumble. If you're on YouTube and Rumble, if you would rate and review us as well, that would really help us out a whole bunch. So we certainly appreciate that. Also, X, Instagram, and Facebook at Carl Jackson Show, at The Carl Jackson Show. Man, there was some breaking news before I got onto the program. So I tell you what, let's talk to you about my pillow. We'll get to some more stories, some more topics, some new stuff that are hitting the news as well. All right, so My Pillow is excited to announce that they are extending the mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. This is your chance to grab incredible deals on For example, you can buy pillow bed sheets. They're available in any size and color. These luxurious sheets are designed for maximum comfort and breathability as well. They're perfect for a great night's sleep. If you're looking for a meaningful gift, right now you can save 30% on the brand new Mike Crosses, inspired by the one that Mike Lindell has worn for every day for over 20 years now. These beautifully crafted crosses come in both men's and women's designs, and they're proudly made in the USA. Get the 6-piece bath and kitchen towel sets for just $39.98. Initial quantities are extremely limited, so don't wait. And don't forget, the best-selling standard My Pillow now just $17.98, plus orders over $75 shipped for free. Go to mypillow.com, use promo code Carl, that's CARL, or call 800-858-0263. Okay, so listen, guys, we're talking about a lot of cultural things. I do want to get to the border as well. There was news that broke earlier, and I'm going to try to find it for you, about Letitia James, AG Letitia James. Apparently, AG Letitia James allegedly committed some mortgage fraud. So I'm going to have to delve into that. I'm going to have to do some research to find that. But I do want to just want to make you aware of that. And so that you can't say that I didn't mention it, but I will bring you more details as I learn more. But apparently the DOJ is looking into AG Letitia James because she may have committed she allegedly committed some mortgage fraud, including apparently signing her father onto a mortgage as if it was her husband or something like that, so she could get a favorable rate or something to that effect. So again, I'm going to have to check all of the details, but I do want to share with you that news. So this is the thing: when you use the law or abuse the law, or weaponize the justice system against people that you shouldn't have done, and when you have this this lady, the AG, how the AG was able to bring a case against the former sitting president, now president of the United States, still baffles me. Bunch of hogwash, real estate fraud she accused him of. Now it appears, and her case was fake, right? I mean, even the judge cited that Mar-a-Lago was worth, I think, about 18 million. When I think if you buy property out there near Mar-a-Lago, just property, all right, just land, nothing built on it, you're looking at a cool 150, $200 million that with no mansion on it. I mean, these people are absolutely insane, and now they're getting their comeuppance, and it's exactly what they deserve. Well, Carl, is that revenge? No, that's justice. That's justice. This lady is sitting out there prosecuting people, and she's committing crimes allegedly. So good, good. She should be found out. And I can't wait until they dive into more of this. I'm going to look up a story. I forgot to print it out. And there's more names that I could go through. I got some more videos that I want to play for you as well. But honestly, I just felt like I needed to speak out against that, speak out about Katy Perry and Gail King and all the these ladies going into space. I know the story is a day old, but I'm honestly, I'm fascinated and I'm frustrated that it was such a big deal in the news. But it was such a big deal in the news because what we believe in doing in the United States of America, apparently at this time, we celebrate fake heroism. We do. I mean, just think about it. I remember talking about this, and I mentioned this before, over a decade ago. I mean, even longer than that. With my former co-host Mickey Alvarez, we used to talk about these fake heroes, and at the time, it was nothing compared to what it's like today. But we were seeing what they were trying to do during the Obama administration, excuse me, when all of a sudden he started supporting the LGBTQ movement more openly, trans movement more openly, and it just hit me one day. I do believe it was the Holy Spirit that quickened me, and like, oh, they're trying to make new heroes. So instead of our military men, which we saw how they destroyed the military, wokeified the military, and now thank God Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is cleaning that up. But what they tried to do, what the left, the Democrat Party tried to do was create these new heroes. And the new heroes wasn't the military man that would go and sacrifice his life for the love of country, for the love of his fellow man. The new hero was some dude wearing a dress. That's courageous. Some mentally a sick person that has testicles wants to wear a dress. He's a hero. These ladies, these multimillionaires that can afford to, and I'm not mad at them for being that. I'd love to be one myself one day. All right, so I'm not mad at them for that. They accomplished something major by what? Taking what is that thing called again? Blue orbit, the blue pill up to the blue pill up to Blue Origin up to the tip of space. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I wonder if these ladies, let's see if I can find it here. I wonder if these ladies that accomplished something major for women, for the women empowerment movement by dipping their big toe into outer space. I wonder what they thought about Rachel Moran. You guys know who Rachel Moran is, right? Jocelyn Nungaray, Rachel Moran, Laken Riley. A Maryland jury on yesterday found illegal immigrant Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez guilty of murdering Bel Air woman Rachel Moran in August 2023. Moran, a 37-year-old mother of 5, was jogging along the Ma and Pa Trail in Bel Air. That's a quaint community northeast of Baltimore when Martinez Hernandez ambushed, strangled, and beat her to death, according to authorities. Prosecutors rested their case Friday, and on Monday, the defense rested its case after less than 10 minutes before closing arguments were made. See, I wonder if these ladies are so into women's empowerment. I wonder if Gail King, I wonder if she even reported about this. I'm just wondering. I wonder if Katy Perry even knows about Rachel Moran. I'm wondering if she knows about Laken Riley. I'm wondering if she knows about Jocelyn Ungare. I wonder if these women know about Riley Gaines that defeated the pretend woman with three legs in the swimming pool, the dude known as Leah Thomas, that literally tied a man in the swimming pool, and she was given second place because her university, the NCAA, wanted to prioritize and celebrate a man with three legs in the pool defeating a woman. I wonder if these women stood up for women that are really in the fight to empower women. Carl, you have no right to talk about women's issues. Shut up. Yes, I do. I know what a hero is just as much as you do. And frankly, it doesn't matter what's between their legs. We can all spot a hero. We all know the true stories. When Katy Perry got out of that capsule, Blue Origin, that thing that looks like a rocket penis, the stuff that she said was so stupid, it was unbelievable. And honestly, I'm not even mad at her. And I'm not calling her stupid, by the way. I think she had so much fun, but I think it went no further than that. And she had to pretend as if it was something more for the sake of female empowerment. But it wasn't. But it wasn't. So much more to get to. Some news out there I want to make sure that you know about. NVIDIA announces $500 billion investment into the United States. You guys may have heard about this yesterday. AI and supercomputer company NVIDIA announced yesterday that it's opening up new factories in the United States for the first time ever. The White House is deeming the move part of the Trump effect to get companies to onshore their manufacturing. Guys, and listen, when it comes to these tariffs, we are talking about a long term haul. We do need some quick fixes. We need deregulation right away. We need tax cuts made permanent right away. GOP, are you listening to me? Por favor. All right. We need this stuff right away. But that doesn't change the fact that what we're doing and what Trump is doing is absolutely huge because he's changing the culture. These people out there, oh, he's for the billionaires. He's for the billion. This guy, this guy is turning around trade policy so that so that there can continue to be a middle class. And you got a bunch of people like the people that you see at Columbia University and Harvard University. I'll get to that momentarily. All these people, all these elites that look down upon the people that work with their hands, they look down upon the skilled labor. But the truth of the matter is, if America is going to survive, you need those people, those patriots in the middle, those middle class. If you wipe out the middle class, you wipe out America because all you have are a bunch of elites and then a bunch of poor people depending upon elites, which is exactly why the left wants illegal immigration, which I'll get to that as well. All right, you guys, you know how I like to roll. I like to tie a lot of things in. But what this is a big deal. You want to know what government does? Hat tip this from David Strum of Hot Air. Remember the Halcyon days after the LA fire? I don't even know that word. When the governor of California and the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, promised that they would cut through all the red tape and get rebuilding going quickly. Good times indeed. Well, promises made, promises kept. The bureaucracy kicked into high gear, and the permits for building are flying off the bureaucrats' desk and out the doors of City Hall at breakneck pace. As of the end of last month, they're still at 4. I remember reporting about this. 4 permits have been issued. That for the city must be a record. It's an all hands on deck operation. Guys, it's been nearly 100 days since the Los Angeles fires. Just 4 permits have been permitted. Guys, I reported on 4 permits over a month ago on the Dennis Prager show. They're still there. They're still there. This is big government. This is what Trump is trying to rid us of. And they're demonizing the man because he's trying to return the government to the people. Ooh, man, it's crazy. Guys, I got so much more. The federal government freezes $2.26 billion of Harvard money and even more coming up. You're listening to the Carl Jackson Show. Hey guys, welcome to the Carl Jackson Show. Again, please subscribe to our podcast wherever you go to get your podcast. Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, and Rumble is where you can go to find us. Also, all things social media, X, Instagram, and Facebook. Por favor. I'm trying to pull up before we go back on, Gabe, a column that I had in my phone. I want to pull it up on my laptop so that I can see it better. So if you guys will give me just a moment, por favor. Let's see here. Nope, wrong column. Uh-oh. I hope I didn't erase it. I didn't. Excuse me just a second before we go back. Appreciate you guys being out there, if anyone is. Got used NGOs. Voters. Okay, I just found an article. Okay. I thought this was a very, very important column. Oh, thank you. You were saying I got some. Okay. All right, guys, welcome back to the Carl Jackson Show. So let me give you this. This news broke this evening. A judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from terminating legal status of 530,000 illegal aliens. This is just insane. I don't know what else to say. I really don't. Some of you have commented before, Carl. You say insane a lot, or some of you have said, "I love when you say this is insane," because it is. It is. Listen to this. A federal judge has blocked the Trump administration, hat tip to the Daily Signal, from revoking legal status and work permits for over 530 illegal aliens from Cuba, Haiti, and Nicaragua and Venezuela. I think I reported on this story last night, if I'm not mistaken. Do I still have it in my formerly fingerprinted fingertips? Do I have that somewhere? Federal government freezes. No. I must have it. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Yeah, so yesterday I reported that the U.S. had stripped benefits from thousands of criminal aliens, those that were on a terror watch list. And so now a judge has said, no, that's not going to happen. You guys are not going to revoke legal status from these criminal aliens. So you have U.S. District Judge India Talwani, an Obama appointee, ruled yesterday, I guess, that the Trump administration cannot terminate the legal status of the migrants without case-by-case review. What are these people trying to do? What are these judges doing? I'll tell you what they're doing. You may think it's far-fetched. I think it's true. They're running for office. No, they don't intend to fill a Congress seat or a Senate seat, but they're helping the Democrat Party run for office. They want this stuff to be in the news as long as possible. They don't want Trump to have victories. They don't want you to have victories. And they don't want their voters sent back overseas. As AOC apparently is gaining momentum, where it looks like she could beat Senator Chuck Schumer in a senatorial race. No telling, because that's a statewide race, but it's certainly possible if a bunch of new people in New York City show up to vote for AOC, and I wouldn't doubt that they would. So Chuck Schumer may be in trouble, but apparently she may even have higher aspirations of that. But these judges, essentially, they're judges of the left that are helping the Democrat Party run. The lawfare continues, just in a different way. I mean, this is just, wow, this is just crazy. But there are some wins. The Biden administration, speaking on that, it was reported that Biden gave his first speech today. I'm not even going to waste your time, since we know that he wasn't the president of the United States, but basically the auto pin, an aide of some sort, ran the White House, and so did Jill Biden, perhaps Hunter Biden. That aide could have been Hunter Biden for all we know. We don't know. We don't know. But I don't want to give a bunch of kudos to that guy. I hope he gets saved, and I'm ready for him to pass away. It's time for him to go stay out of the media spotlight. He was a fake. He was a fraud. He is not a good man. He never was a good man. He was a horrible president. Even if he was lucid at any time, and apparently, as more information comes out, there were times where I thought at least there may have been times where he was semi lucid. Apparently, that wasn't obvious or not often or frequent. The Biden administration program allowed migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, Venezuela to be flown directly into the U.S. interior and granted work authorization. The program was intended to provide safe and orderly pathways to the United States for nationals from the four nations under the category of humanitarian parole. On his first day back in office, Trump signed an executive order directing the Department of Homeland Security to terminate all categorical parole programs, including the processes for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. In March, DHS issued a notice announcing the official termination of the program beginning on April 24th. So now you have this judge that steps in and says, no, 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 no. These illegal aliens, so we're going to allow them to keep their legal status. It doesn't matter to me if these are criminal aliens or what have you. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. And then you consider this story. I ran across this story earlier. Let me bring your attention to it, because what Trump is trying to do, it's not just that Trump is fundamentally, the left wanted to fundamentally transform America, and they did so. Barack Obama and his acolytes, even throughout the Biden administration, by using the federal government, by using culture, by using social media, censoring conservatives, censoring thought. Oh, Carl, that's what they're doing at Harvard. No, I will get to that. That is a different thing. But what Trump is trying to do is restore the Constitution, restore the power of the people. You may not agree with everything. I may not agree with everything at times, and I don't. But I give him credit for doing what he's trying to do, and it's so obvious that this guy is trying to return the government to the people. I've never seen anything like it, and all they can do is he's a billionaire. He's a billion. Okay, he's a billionaire that's trying to restore the government and return it to the people. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. This from the New York Post. How Democrats use NGOs to end run voters, a parallel government. Now, this is Holy Week, obviously, Passover, leading up to we're leading up to Good Friday. We're leading up to Easter Sunday. And, you know, NGOs, non-government organizations, which is an oxymoron, but we'll get into that momentarily. But you have these non-government organizations that you thought were created to do goodwill, good work for the Lord, good work for your neighbor. No, it just turns out many of them, if not most of them, were commissioned to do good work for the left. And so this, according to the New York Post, from Glenn Reynolds, I'm often darkly amused by common examples of inherently false nomenclature. He mentions jumbo shrimp, government ethics, unbiased news media, for instance. And then one of our society's biggest falsehoods in the name NGOs, or non-government organizations. Until recently, those groups, he says, have been widely seen as international, idealized versions of domestic nonprofits. We thought of them as do-good organizations, he writes, set up by people who really care about the environment, or poor people, or children even. But it turns out, or freedom. Turns out that that's not necessarily the case. All right. So he said, we imagine that they raise money for the downtrodden, right? Send out press releases and engage in other private activities to promote the causes that they favor. That's what we thought they were doing, right? They would go out into the media and gin up support for their just causes. And now we know that that's not true. We thought, he says, they're not government entities. We thought the very name says that, but a species of private charity whose good intentions deserve the benefit of any doubt. Perhaps some NGOs do operate in that way, he writes, but as we've learned recently, partly as because of Doge digging, many NGOs entities are really just fronts for government activities. Listen, I love this. I love the way he worded this. These entities, many NGOs or non-governmental entities, are really just fronts for government activities that Americans would never stand for if Washington attempted them directly. Guys, why is this important? I should probably change the title of this podcast, but I think I needed to talk about Katy Perry. Maybe this part should be another podcast separately, because if you sit here and think about it, the people that we trusted to do goodwill for the Lord, goodwill for humans, humanitarian aid, they're just a bunch of leftists, and they did nothing of the sort. Frankly, all they did, many of them, were damage America. He gives some examples. The border crisis was funded in large part by Joe Biden's government, which sent large sums of money in the form of grants to various NGOs. Are NGOs responsible for the criminal illegal aliens that we see in our country today? Are NGOs responsible for the large amounts of TDA gangsters, MS-13 gangsters, as the left continues to try to cry me a river over this dude that's back in his home country of El Salvador, and you have a judge in the federal government, even SCOTUS, asking that the president bring an El Salvadorian citizen back to the United States. What the kind of hell sense does that make? Are these NGOs responsible for bringing in these criminal aliens? They funded the border crisis in part. It was funded by Joe Biden, but they helped organize it and they were complicit. Joe Biden's government sent large sums of money in the forms of grants to various NGOs that help migrants on how to get to the United States, how to claim asylum once they got here. NGOs helped the illegals with expenses on their way here, and then provided legal resources of more than $22 billion worth of assistance for them, including cash for cars. Gabe, could you use cash for a car? If you go across the border, pretend like you're an illegal and come in, you won't be able to do that now. But if a Democrat gets in, you may be able to. Home loans, business startups, man. I mean, this is cool stuff. This is stuff that the middle class would love to be able to take advantage of. These NGOs, maybe we should think of a different term for NGOs. I'm going to think of something different. NGO, non-government organization. I'm going to think of a clever name for NGO. We're going to have to repurpose or reframe that acronym, because a lot of these NGOs are not good people. They're not doing the Lord's work. They're working against America. And frankly, they're working against the illegals they claim to be helping. This is the Carl Jackson Show. We'll be back. All right, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever you go to get your podcast: Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, and Rumble. Por favor. Very, very important. Very, very important. All things social media: X, Instagram, and Facebook at Carl Jackson Show, at The Carl Jackson Show. Let me just make sure there's no breaking news before I go on. Casino executive Elaine Wynn, she dies at the age of 82. Biden delivers his first speech. No one cares. I mean, Democrats are literally hoping that you didn't watch it. He was a disaster. It's a disaster. He's out there railing about Social Security. All right, so insane. Wow. Okay. Okay. So, man, there's so much news breaking. Some of this stuff I'm going to get to tomorrow. I'll just make mention of it when we go back. Okay. So here we are. Let's just go ahead and guys, welcome back to the Carl Jackson Show. This is your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. There's so much news that's even breaking now. I can't possibly get to it all. Trump says Harvard should lose its tax exempt status over activism. I know there's a lot of you out there, and frankly, I think it's healthy skepticism. Whether you like what someone says or you hate what someone says, you should always be skeptical of a government that will come in and shut them down. However, I think what's happening on these campuses, this isn't a matter of free speech. When you're literally intimidating people, when you're preventing people from going to class, when you're scaring the bejeebers out of people, harassing people, you don't have a right to do that. You don't have a right to infringe on my safety. That's not free speech. You can say you hate Jews. You can say you hate blacks. You can say you hate Latinos all you want. I don't like it, but you can say it. It's America. It's free. It's a free country. It's free speech. But once your activity starts impeding on my activity and behavior, and I shouldn't say behavior, maybe that's the wrong. Once your activity, once you intimidate people to where they have to change their behavior because you're intimidating, because you're harassing, because you're assaulting, that isn't free speech. That isn't free speech. I don't know why this isn't clear. And Harvard and all of these schools, I don't give a flip if they lose their money. I really don't. Frankly, I don't even think they should be I don't even think these schools should be federally funded, period. I don't think there should be federal scholarships. Okay, all right. Maybe I'm going too far with that. That hit me. I got to rethink that because I do think the nation, if you want to stay smart, you want to stay ahead of the curve, you want to stay numero uno, I think the federal government has a vested interest in making sure they have smart people. The problem is that's not what we've done. And so now the federal government is reversing course. You've got Harvard with these major endowments. I think Harvard has like a $50 billion endowment, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's something insane. So this hat tip to the Epoch Times. The federal government has freezes $2.26 billion funding to Harvard after it refuses to comply. But now it looks like Trump is stepping it up even further. So I'll get to that. So yesterday, was it yesterday? You said the federal government announced that it was freezing $2.2 billion in grants and $60 million in contracts to Harvard after the university said it would not comply with the Trump administration's demands to dismantle diversity programs and limit student protests. You had Harvard President Alan Garber is his name, wrote in a campus-wide message early on April 14th that, quote, the university will not surrender its dependence or relinquish its constitutional rights. Hey, President, you don't have to. But what you're not entitled to is my cheddar, is my money. Hours later, the Department of Education Task Force on Anti-Semitism released a statement announcing the funding freeze. Quote, Harvard's statement today reinforces the troubling entitlement mindset that is endemic in our nation's most prestigious universities and colleges. That federal investment does not come with the responsibility to uphold civil rights laws. And that's what's happening. You have a university that is violating civil rights laws, but demanding your taxpayer dollars. And you got people out there, free speech, free speech, free. And guys, listen, I know because we experienced it. The censorship that we experienced under COVID, some that still exist today with some of these social media outlets. I get it. So we should be skeptical. But harassing people, beating people down, preventing people to going into classrooms and classes that they paid for is not free speech. And if you want to do that, if you tell students that are paying you hundreds of thousands of dollars, hey, if you're Jewish and you come to our campus, you're going to be harassed, you're going to be beat up, you're going to be spat upon. We're going to have people that are literally paid for by Hamas passing out flyers to scare the crap out of you. Israel must die and so on and be obliterated. If you were to advertise that, they would never come to your school. But if you want to advertise it, you can go ahead. You just won't get federal dollars to do so. Because I don't want to participate in that crap. There's been a back and forth that occurred during a growing standoff between the elite academic institutions and the federal government 2 weeks ago. The Department of Education and Health and Human Services, along with the General Services Administration, launched a review of approximately $9 billion in federal funding provided to Harvard. Days later, the administration sent the university an initial list of areas of reform that the government felt was necessary for Harvard's continued financial relationship with the U.S. government. So those steps include the elimination of DEI. That's racism. That's a violation of civil rights. You don't discriminate against a group of people to lift up a group of people. A ban on face coverings during protests because these people were literally vandalizing property, assaulting students, harassing students, No, let's see your face. If Harvard wants to allow them to do, hey, that's fine, Harvard. You're just not going to get federal funding to do so. Reforms to admissions and hiring systems that prioritize merit-based criteria over race or gender-based performances. Hey, they don't have, these people can hire whoever they want. Not if they're collecting my tax dollars. That's all this is. This isn't hard. The letter also urges the university to fully cooperate with federal agencies, including DHS, and pursue structural reforms and leadership changes to ensure long-term compliance. On April 11th, three agencies sent the university another letter with a more detailed list of demands. Quote, the United States has invested in Harvard University's operations because of the value to the country of scholarly discovery and academic excellence, but an investment is not an entitlement. Thank you. It depends on Harvard upholding federal civil rights laws, and it only makes sense if Harvard fosters the kind of environment that produces intellectual creativity and scholarly rigor, both of which are antithetical to ideological capture. Now, if these people are opposed to this, they should go like Hillsdale. Hillsdale doesn't accept any federal funding, so they can talk about whatever the heck they want to talk about. They just happen to be a great school. The new letter instructs Harvard to overhaul its international admissions process to screen out applicants deemed hostile to American values or, quote, supportive of terrorism or anti Semitism, close quote. So you can be a bigot, you can be an anti Semite. The question is, do taxpayers get to pay for it at your school? And the answer should be a resounding no. Excuse me. The administration also demanded an audit of specific programs, most notably Harvard's Center for Middle Eastern Studies. That allegedly quote fuel anti-Semitic harassment or reflect ideological capture. The audit must produce a report identifying any faculty who quote discriminated against Jewish or Israeli students, close quote, or quote incited students to violate Harvard's rules following the October 7th massacre, which triggered a wave of campus protests. Isn't it amazing how these people will stand up for Mahmoud Khalil, a wannabe terrorist, but they won't talk about October 7th? Trump did something that I thought was so crucial. Trump notifies Congress of intent to eliminate all public broadcast funding. Yes. What was that movie? Was it Al Pacino? Hoorah! The New York Post. The White House has begun to notify Congress of its request to eliminate, quote, all public broadcast funding and codify foreign aid cuts identified by Doge. The Post has learned major clawbacks in the so-called rescissions plan include $1.1 billion appropriated for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which provides funds to PBS and NPR, which is National Public Radio, and $8.3 billion from U.S. aid. This is a memo drafted by the White House Budget Director Russ Vought and requested by GOP congressional leaders, accuses CPB of a lengthy history of anti-conservative bias and cites waste, fraud, and abuse at USAID. You guys remember when I forget her name, but when the president of NPR, was it NPR or PBS? I believe it was NPR, but she sat in front of Congress a couple of weeks ago or a few weeks ago or so and admitted that I think it's like they have a board of 87 people. Every single one of them are Democrats, but this is National Public Radio. Please give me a break. I'm just absolutely insane. Listen, man, if these people have listeners, and they have millions of listeners, then you should do what other radio stations do and find sponsors. It's as simple as that. We don't need to be paying for that. These people don't offer some high-minded opinions that you can't find anywhere else. Actually, they're just part of a sounding board that we've seen all along, or we hear all the time. But there's so much news to get to. I'm going to have to touch on more a little later. ICE arrests a legal immigrant who faces 20 charges of sex crimes against minors. All the more reason that Trump should be allowed to deport these criminal illegal aliens with the quickness. You have people like Taylor Lorenz still supporting this. I guess it's this assassination culture. Taylor Lorenz attempts to respond to backlash over comments that she got gushing over Luigi Mangione. Again, you have Trump that's out there saying that he's going to revoke the tax exempt status of Harvard. There's so much more to get to, guys. I don't have time to get to it tonight, but I will tomorrow. Guys, please follow me all things social media, X, Instagram, and Facebook at Carl Jackson Show, at the Carl Jackson Show. Don't grow weary doing good. God bless you.